Oh, there it is.
Right.
We're live.
Now we're live. All right. Welcome to Monero Talk episode. What are we? Episode number 4?
Yep, episode 4.
Episode 4. We're trying to do maybe like 2 of these a week. The idea is to really just talk about, all the issues that are happening on in Monero land and in Bitcoin land. And right now the bug seems to be, what do we call it? What's the name of the bug?
The double count.
I don't want to call it double spend. That's scary.
Yeah,
that sounds scary.
Not to be confused with, correct.
Okay, the double count bug, which seems to be a hot topic right now. Not so much the bug itself, but I think how it was handled. And we were able to get in touch with, it's Nicola? Is that the correct?
Yep.
Nicola, who's with Morphtoken. And I guess she could tell you more about herself. But I think they kind of had a firsthand experience with dealing with the bug and dealing with the lack of community warning, maybe. So that's the topic. I don't know if you want to just jump right in and I guess tell us more about yourself and
what
it was like for you guys.
Yeah. So I, along with my 2 co-founders, started Morphtoken last year. Started developing kind of mid last year, even before that. And then we finally launched, I think, early December. And so basically Morphtoken is an online instant exchange for crypto. We currently offer 6 currencies, and it's crypto only, no fiat. There's no account required, no sign up required, and basically no information except potentially a refund address. And then a deposit address and where you want the funds sent to, so a destination address. So Monero is, I don't know, do you want me to give a background about myself or about my team? I'm not sure.
Whatever you want to talk about.
Okay.
I mean,
sure.
The goal here, I guess, is to eventually jump into the issue of, the bug and how it was handled in the community.
Yeah. I guess
the more information, the better.
Sure. Okay. So to give some context, my 2 co-founders and I, we have pretty extensive experience, in the space. My 2 partners have been in the space for I think almost 8 years, and maybe more at this point. I myself have been in the space for 4 years, and we have worked together as a team on a different company down in Panama together. For I think 3 years for me, and I think they have Gabe and our other co-founder GP even longer. So we have a good rapport, and that's why we're excited to bring you guys Morphtoken. So we do have the context of handling hacks, and given our experience handling hacks and how to proceed, or handling bugs and how to proceed. But this is very different now because there are so many different crypto companies in the space. So, before it was okay to, if you came across a bug and it was pretty serious, it was okay to just notify the top exchanges. Or maybe you had as a developer, a core developer on any currency, you had kind of your VIP list, of people who you knew specifically would be severely affected with, large volumes and such by some type of bug. So this now in 2018, mid 2018, it doesn't work anymore. I think what we saw here with this recent Monero bug is an example of that, kind of using an old model in a new world of crypto. Where it doesn't apply, it doesn't work. So I think, that's generally what I would want to talk to you guys about is and generally I like to focus on solutions instead of pointing fingers and saying, oh, it was your fault, it was his fault, it was her fault. So I think that'd be cool if we could maybe hopefully use this talk as a springboard for people to come to the table and propose different solutions on how to handle these issues going forward. Because now this current model is definitely not working.
So it's it's kind of a good, I mean, not a good sign, but I mean, it's that we're growing up and we're getting bigger. So these things are
Right.
becoming issues now because it's not just, 10 people that need to get an email.
Correct.
It's a larger community that's now working on the project.
Right.
But Brian, maybe you want to actually talk about what your understanding of what the bug itself is.
Well, yeah. Before we get into that, I was also trying to put everything together from what we saw on Reddit today. And I was wondering, like, do you guys keep a dev in their IRC channel? Like, that's what they seem to be like. That was their only defense is, hey,
Right.
we posted it, and shame on you guys for not watching. And it's like, do we know if they even posted it? I don't know.
No, yeah, I read that subreddit today, and they did in fact disclose something on July 6th, but it was in a very nonchalant manner, and definitely did not call the warning necessary that it needed to call. And so, and also if you're, again, if you have a huge company and you have maybe 10 devs completely devoted to one currency like Monero, of course they're going to catch it. But when you're a smaller team and maybe you only have 2 or 3 devs who are working on a multitude of projects for the company, you can't expect them to be trolling and stalking the IRC chat for one currency every single day.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that they don't have like a type of just a subscribe here if you want to be notified of any, exploits, and we just send out a big email chain whenever we find something.
Right.
So they should definitely look into adding that. I was talking with Monero today. If people are watching, they don't know Monero. He's one of the hardcore Monero devs. Don't know his identity. No one does. But he's a really smart dude, really sharp, and he was trying to walk me through as best he could for someone that's not totally familiar with Monero, the code base and how this exploit happens. And I don't know if you could call it a double count problem, because the way he explained it to me, it's more like a multiple count problem where there's an extra field in a Monero transaction, like MinerGate uses it when they mine a block, where you can append any type of data structure you want to a transaction. And if it turns out you actually add the public key address to the transaction, all node calls, all RPC calls using, get transfers or get bulk transfers, they'll end up taking that transaction. Say I sent 50 Monero and I appended the public key, it would show I sent 100 Monero. And so obviously that's wrong. And even, increasing the lock time on the transaction doesn't account for this, because every time you pull up show get transactions or get transfers, you're going to have the wrong info there. So what I thought was cool is that it only affected some of the RPC calls, which, I mean, it doesn't safeguard anybody because get transfers is what everyone's going to be using. But I thought it was interesting that this exploit only took advantage of some of them and then not others. You'd hope that testing would catch all this stuff. But if you did incoming transfers on an RPC call, it wouldn't be fooled. But get transfers or show bulk transfers doesn't catch this bug. And so if people append the public address, the pub key, like 4 times, it will just multiply the amount shown by 4. And so I guess that's what happened to you guys, is that someone scammed the Morphtoken today?
Yeah, so what happened with us, just to give a little bit of a summary, is that we had it was any normal day, had transactions coming in. It was around July 12th, 13th, and with the routine accounting procedures that we have, we noticed that the balance was there was a discrepancy with the balance versus the transactions. And what they were showing, right? So in our specific case, it affected a transaction, multiple related, but specifically XMR to XMR trade. So basically forwarding a forwarding transaction. So the person put in X amount of Monero and actually received double that.
Double the amount, right?
Yeah. So our multiplier was 2x.
Gotcha.
Luckily not more.
Yeah. 100x and see you
Right.
later.
Yeah. No thanks. So, you know, and again, you know, we've had so long in the crypto community. We've had experience with this type of stuff, you know, hacks, etc. But you know, we pride ourselves in being on top of this stuff normally, and we've been in the space so long. We know a lot of people, so it is we are usually just very much in the know. You know, now again, the paradigm's shifting, right? So you have huge extremes in the differences between smaller exchanges, larger exchanges, and there's just so many people in the game now that a new system has to develop for you know, warnings. But yeah, so anyway, we noticed this, and so we halted deposits. Withdrawals, deposits, and you know, until we could investigate further. And then we were comfortable with isolating a subset of transactions for further investigations, and then we resumed you know, regular business for XMR. So yeah, so some of those are still under investigation, but it's a very small number, and you know, we've handled all of our support tickets. Everyone in our Telegram chat is really great. So
so Nicola, how long have you guys been? You guys obviously updated to the latest version, and all the prior versions had that exploit.
Yeah, correct. So we updated. So this bug affected everything before. Well, not everything. This bug actually came about because Monero added sub addresses. So that's actually when the bug came about. And so it went unnoticed until recently. And that, you know, affected through version, I think 0.2.12. And then 0.13 is the fix with the patch. From what I've heard around the space, there are potentially more patches coming through, and the 0.13 version is not a full fix.
Okay.
Yeah, so definitely be weary of that, everyone. And again, you know, go ahead.
I was just saying, I mean, I guess what it boils down to, right? I mean, is this need to communicate when these issues are arising, to put out the warning, but you don't want the warning getting into the wrong person's hands, right? Because now people know that there's something out there that can be exploited. Exactly. So I think that's really where the issue lies, right? Otherwise, I guess it would have really been broadcast all over Reddit and Twitter and wherever. But I think that's the argument for the other side, right? That's being made.
Right.
Like, do you guys think was it exploited on Morphtoken, or was it that people were just making these transactions and this was happening, or was it intentionally being exploited? I mean, not that you would know, but
right. You know, without giving away too much confidential information, we are like with 99.9% certainty that this was definitely an intentional exploit. Okay. I think that, you know, the user or users in question, you know, did a normal transaction and then kind of realized what had happened and then proceeded to take advantage additionally of the exploit that they had discovered. Yeah. So, and you are completely right, by the way, about, you know, it's a fine line and balancing when do you disclose to people, how many people do you disclose to, you know, about these bug discoveries. And, you know, you don't want to cause widespread panic either, especially now that the market, you know, involves a lot more people than it did last year. You know, things can easily get crazy. And, you know, just to do some research, I was actually going back and looking at some old bug fixes and timelines from Monero. There was one last year in 2017, and they specifically addressed that. They say, you know, we've reached out, you know, and they even give a whole timeline. And it was some bug where you could create an infinite, unlimited amount of
Zcash had that also. Yeah, that was crazy. That they're like, don't worry. Yeah, nobody created any, but they could have if we didn't catch them.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And so it's just, I mean, the timeline is a bit comical, but, you know, and back then it was probably fine, right? They said, oh, bug found, you know, infinite coins can be created. And then they said, okay, good news, we just did a scan of the whole network. You know, no one, you know, it's fine, it's clean. Okay, let's move forward. And so, you know, they just go through the timeline like that.
Yeah, I think that was the range proofs. People could submit a negative value, and then
So and they specifically say, like, okay, we're going to tell, you know, XYZ amount of people, right? I think I can't remember how many they named, but it was a very small amount. Like, I mean, yeah, definitely less than 100. I would say less than 20. I think I remember reading, but don't quote me on that. But you know, they specifically say, oh, we haven't released, you know, X patch because we want to wait to see if, you know, we don't want to release and make this bug known, but we're going to do it then, and so it is the methodology in the past has been to specifically thwart people from abusing the exploit further until proper patches are put out for it. So I guess the question we're coming to now is how do we manage that and disseminate information in a way that protects people without letting abusers take further advantage of these exploits? It's a very fine line.
Yeah, that might be an interesting project I could work on. Something not blockchain related, but software related, just like a, you know, alert hotline kind of thing for crypto devs.
Go for it. You should do it.
Yeah, that sounds.
But like, so how do you validate then who should be on that?
Well, that'd be
channel,
like
kind of that inner circle, right? Because now you're just facing the whole larger issue of a decentralized open source project.
It wouldn't be decentralized like that. It would literally be, I would have to authenticate them, and I would be like, instead of an Oracle problem, like, you know, assets on blockchain, I would have to verify people. It would be a pain in the ass, but Monero would be easy, you know?
No, but yeah, you're right. I mean,
so you would become the CEO of Monero, is what you're saying.
Yeah, oh yeah.
No, but you're right. It definitely gets into larger philosophical issues that, you know, blockchain was built to combat or provide an alternative solution to, right? This problem of centralization. But I think we've seen it, especially as crypto has scaled up so much, not scaled up, but just grown, you know, adoption, grown exponentially. You know, we are seeing the paradox. I see it in a lot of founders and, you know, Bitcoin early adopters. They don't want to centralize. They want to do everything in their power to stop. But sometimes, you know, there's calls for governance, there's needs for, and I don't know if I agree with that, but these are questions that need to be answered as more and more people come into the space. You know, like perhaps making standard protocols for how to handle this kind of bug situation. You know, I think if just standards, you know, there was a standard that existed last year, right? More or less. And that's how they handled the bugs back then. But we definitely have to look at creating a new paradigm. And hopefully we can find a happy medium between being safe and remaining true to decentralizing everything.
Jeez.
Yeah, because I mean, this isn't going to be the last bug or issue that we face, obviously. So,
right, so bulletproofs go smoothly.
And as we get larger, they're only going to have a larger impact. So it's definitely something that needs to be. But I don't know. I don't know what kind of solution there could be, because I mean,
just rigorous testing, you know, is really the only answer if you want to maintain decentralization.
Right.
No,
but that with.
But the issue, can you solve the issue of trying to communicate and send out messages to people that need to be in the know while not letting wrongdoers know?
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, there's very few things that are like zero-day exploits. This seems to be like something they were able to come in regardless of end lock time and hit you guys with. I would think like, you know, maybe they should start a subscription service for critical bugs. And then, you know, devs, anybody, all you have to do is shut down wallets, you know, before someone can generate, you know, some type of attack vector on it. So I think the edge is still on the defensive side, where it's like, okay, let's just everyone freeze deposits, you know, freeze withdrawals, and then you're good, as opposed to someone saying, oh, wait, maybe I could exploit that. This is how, and they'll start to come up with a way to do it. That's really the only way. But rigorous testing is probably the most key.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely another issue with, you know, all of these coins. And, you know, Monero is one that we really are fond of over at Morphtoken. So, you know, we like them because they have done so much and made scientific advancements without the huge amount of resources that a lot of these other coins have and tokens have. So, you know, it comes down to what you just said, like rigorous testing, right? They don't have the resources perhaps to do rigorous testing. Everyone's on different time zones, you know, coordinating everyone. It's a tough job. And, you know, it was fine before. The system seemed to be working, but clearly something is broken now. So again, we have to explore new solutions.
Have they given you guys like timeline on when they'll have a fully like a full solution, not just a hot patch?
Well, so that's just kind of what I've been hearing around the space. That was not an official, like this could be their last patch. I'm just not sure.
Gotcha. Okay.
But from what I've heard from others, it was kind of just like a quick fix, and that there's going to be more down the line.
Why couldn't this happen on Verge? Like nobody takes that coin seriously. That would have made things so much better.
Yeah.
Didn't Verge have a double spend? Oh no, was that?
It was a miner exploit. Yeah, like their mining algorithm cycled different algorithms.
Yeah.
Slightly worse.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Because they actually threw that in there for no reason but to do it. So.
But
yeah,
so.
I mean, oh, go ahead.
I was just, is Monero like your largest traded coin on Morph?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right now that is our most popular coin. So we love supporting it. You know, we originally added it because there just weren't a lot of great options for trading Monero, you know, let alone instantly like that. Now there's more coming to market. But you know, we had a really great integration with Cake Wallet as well. They were the first, you know, Monero client for iOS. In previous years, it was a huge issue for, you know, non-tech savvy people to effectively manage their Monero. I think everyone loves a good GUI wallet. So yeah, that was a great part, and still is a great partnership for us. Yeah.
Yeah, it's super slick how Cake and you guys are integrated, and you know it works out nicely. And I think it makes sense, really, for Morph. I mean, because you're not really an exchange; it's more of an instant, seamless transfer, right?
Right.
So I think the use case for a privacy token really makes sense, because why else are people going to want to seamlessly be able to transfer into a currency from another cryptocurrency, right? I mean, exchanging, I could see, right? You want to swap your Bitcoin for Ethereum because you're literally trying to trade it,
right? Or you think it'll go up, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, like, you know, if you have Bitcoin and you want to, you know, seamlessly spend it anonymously, why not just use it through Morph?
Yeah. I think a lot of our users definitely appreciate the convenience of it. And yeah, it's just slick, it's fast, and we have great customer support. So
do you think people are using it to effectively trade? Or is it?
Yeah, I would say so. You know, we see kind of, and you know, we don't log or track any data. We don't use Google Analytics or anything like that. So really, we don't have much data to go on. But you know, you'll see like the exact same amount traded multiple times in a row, like in, you know, span of a minute. So it's, you know, that seems like it's, you know, the same person using it to trade, but perhaps it's not. So yeah, but it's exciting, and we are growing very rapidly. I'm happy to say, and we're pretty excited to bring some new features pretty soon. We're mainly focused on adding coins right now, and then we'll focus on other things in the future. So
cool. Yeah. Let's hope you guys don't get hit with another exploit anytime soon. At least not on Monero, maybe Verge or something else.
Well, I'm definitely going to be like stalking all the IRC chats now.
Yeah,
religiously.
Yeah. I think Fluffy owes you a personal phone call.
Oh yeah, or a trolling tweet at least.
At least a troll. Okay. Well, I don't think we solved all the world's problems, but
we're on the right track.
I think it's a good start, and the community's got to continue to talk about this. Obviously, it's going to be up to the devs to come up with,
yeah,
I would say a solution moving forward, an alert system of some sort.
Yeah. I mean, if anyone has a good solution, definitely put it forward. And for this current bug, I would say, it's tough when you're a developer to kind of realize the full effects of your work. So I urge anyone out there that may be watching this, if your company or your site or your business or whatever it is, or even your own personal trading was affected by this double count bug, you should reach out and post on Reddit or post somewhere that it was affected. It would be nice to know the extent of the exploit, right? Like how much did it cost people, right? So
yeah, no, it'd be good to know that at least right. If it is a large issue in the community, we can try to find a way to resolve it.
Right. So that would be my last plea to people.
All right. So, Doug, do you have anything else you want to talk about today, or are we gonna?
No, I think we're good. Keep it short. That was awesome. I'm glad that we could actually this is actually our first interview. So this is only our 4th show. It's kind of cool that we have Morphtoken on.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. Yeah, cool. And it's super relevant to what's actually happening right now. So that's cool too.
Yeah, I think we might be the first ones actually publicly talking about it.
It's hard to find information.
It's really important.
It's impossible. Really, almost nothing has been published even today. I mean, there's still nothing yet.
Yeah, I literally had to go on IRC and talk with Monero to get info on it because I couldn't find anything.
It's a bit odd, but we'll be waiting. So yeah, with excitement.
Right, an idle Monero dev on IRC.
Yeah, maybe we can get someone from the core team on next or something. I mean, I don't know if that's possible.
Yeah, that would be great.
Continue to talk about the issue.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All
right. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks guys. Nice to meet you.
Bye. All right.
Hope to talk
again. Thursday.
Ciao.
Sounds good. Ciao.